It is another absolutely beautiful day here out in the iRacing Sim. Today we got set to go racing for yet another round of the V8 Supercars World Cup. Welcome to round number 3 at the Barber Motorsports Park here in Leeds, Alabama for, well, you guessed it, the Alabama Grand Prix. Barber Motorsports Park is going to be a very difficult racetrack. 3.6 kilometers marks the length of the circuit, and all in total 16 turns for these drivers to navigate here today. A little bit of everything: hard braking zones, hairpins, chicanes, sweepers, elevation change. This track has it all, and we should be in for one spectacular showing then here tonight. Take a look at the championship standings coming into today. Nathan Ormond still in the points lead with Tony Stewart right behind him after Stewart had an absolutely amazing performance. Zach Fitzwater Sr. taking the victory in the the Elkhart Lake Grand Prix over at Road America just 1 week ago. Now sits third place in points. Jose Mills down in fourth, and Will Parrish a close fifth as well. The top 5 separated by just 34 points, and with 100 points total up for grabs for every race win, there is still a lot to play for, as all the way down to 16th and 17th place, still within shot on taking that points lead within just a single race. So we get set to go racing for what should be a fantastic starting lineup here today, as we continue to make our tour around the United States of America here in Leeds, Alabama. Time to take a rundown of your starting grid, and we'll see just how tonight's race could shake up for us here tonight. It's going to be Jose Mills on a pole position with Logan Kinghorn down in second place. Nathan Christensen starts third with Mitchell O'Brien in fourth. Stephen Colon is in fifth with Andy Thomas in sixth. Jesse Bell is seventh. George Ward is eighth. Logan Hamilton is ninth with Tony Stewart in 10th. Dominic Horn 11th. And going to be one Nathan Ormond rounding out the top 12. 13th place holds Alyssa Harris with Matt Jones in 14th. Casey Wells is 15th. 2 seconds out with Michael Brown down in 16th. You're going to have Felix Jansen at 17th, Nathan Wheaton in 18th, Zach Fitzwater Sr. is 19th. Will Parrish rounds out the top 20. From there, you will have Lewis Young at 21st, Declan Foster 22nd, Luca Reed 23rd, Archer Kingsley in 24th, Mackenzie, Vargas, and Stone bring up the tail end of the field for tonight's running of the Alabama Grand Prix. So it's time to go racing then for the Barber Motorsports Park for 41 laps, and we'll see what these 27 fire-breathing beasts will be able to do for a showing here tonight. Green flag is up in the air as the field thunders away down in towards turn number 1. For the first time, Logan Kinghorn pulls clear of Jose Mills, going for the race lead. Jose Mills already starting to drop back. Look out for the Pennzoil number 7 of Nathan Christensen, side by side between Andy Thomas and Mitchell O'Brien for 4th and 5th, up over the rise of turn number 3. Diving down in towards turn 5 now at the hairpin, still side by side. The snap-on Holden, though, going to be pulling around and getting clear of Andy Thomas. Jose Mills trying to hang on against Nathan Christensen. Thomas fighting back in the run down towards the turn 7, 8, and 9 chicane. The field going to get itself single filed out. Already Kinghorn pulling a 2.6 second gap at the front of the field, diving our way through the S's. That turns 9 and 10 for the first time today before we slow it down a little bit more for 11 and 12. Thomas swings out wide. Here comes O'Brien once again trying to fight back. Thomas trying to make the attack on Christensen. It's not going to happen. And Mitchell O'Brien pulling around for fourth place. Alyssa Harris off course at the back of the field. Sandy Thomas continuing to battle it out with Mitchell O'Brien into turn one. Not going to happen, though. Let's take a look on what happened to Alyssa Harris. Oh, clipped the grass, entering the final corner and swung it out wide and actually stuffed it into the barrier there right where it enters pit road. So that is horrible news there for Alyssa Thomas, who I believe could very well find herself out of the race as a result. That is a very, very easy mistake to do. We'll have to see if we'll be getting any further spills similar to that later on today. There was also cars going off track, Aiden Stone in particular, but seems like that was just a simple off and on, so we'll keep our eyes now on this main action as we start to get ourselves settled into the overall rhythm of how tonight's race will be playing out. Andy Thomas now struggling to keep the likes of Stephen Colon behind. While Harris makes that tow down into pit road. As Jose Mills still holding second place, trying to keep Nathan Christensen tucked in line. About a quarter of a second separate this pairing. Further in the back, Felix Jansen, Will Parrish battling it out with last week's winner, Zach Fitzwater Sr. right behind. Whoa, look out! Jansen's off into the barriers. Jansen goes screaming off the course and goes slamming into the tire barriers. I think just went too deep. Just nothing he could have done in that situation to stop that car from nosing it into the barriers big time. See Andy Thomas weaving left, weaving right, trying to find a way around Nathan Christensen, but Christensen doing a great job on playing defense, trying to keep Thomas behind. You can also see now Mitchell O'Brien right up the road. So Andy Thomas has caught O'Brien and has made that overtake actually down into the hairpin for fourth place. O'Brien looking to squeak to the inside at turn one. Thomas sees it coming, though, and manages to turn in time to just dime it off that corner. Looking back at Tony Stewart, currently points runner-up in a bit of a five-way scrap for 10th. This is with Stewart, Horn, Ormond, Wells, and Brown. They are all trying to close up to George Ward and Jesse Bell, who's just a little way further up the road. Looks like the fight might pick up for 13th here. Michael Brown's got the run on Casey Wells in the dash towards turn 7. Through 7A and 7B, Michael Brown makes the move on Casey Wells at the Super Cheap Auto Holden. Once again, out in front. Already the field starting to spread out by a fairly decent margin. As now Archer Kingsley in trouble. Rejoins the circuit, but having a bit of a moment. There's Christensen once again trying to keep Andy Thomas behind. They were getting a bit tighter through the final couple of corners, but it looks like that is stabilized out. Here is Stephen Colon looking for the outside of Mitchell O'Brien. O'Brien will cover, though, out of turn 2 and up the hill for 3. Colon made the move down into the hairpin at turn 5. No, we can't. but not for lack of trying. Stephen Colon going to continue to battle this out, close it in with the draft down the straightaway to the turn 7 chicane. It's just such a fine line, though, making moves at a track like the Barber Motorsports Park. You really struggle a fair bit trying to make something happen. Although here's a fight. Declan Foster, Christian Vargas going side by side into the chicane. Can't go side by side there, and now Christensen finds himself off course, and that's going to let Andy Thomas sweep through. Nathan Christensen swinging it about as far wide as he can go. Oh, and he's going to collect Logan Hamilton. Hamilton gets collected. Christensen spins off. That was about as clumsy as you could possibly get. Jesse Bell also having an off-track excursion and pops it up into the air. Aiden Stone also going around. So we've got a whole host of incidents now to get a look at. There's where Christensen went off the track and lets Andy Thomas through, tries to come back on, and instead just collides with the side of Logan Hamilton in a very clumsy rejoin. From there, you got Jesse Bell swinging out wide, and he just went off the course, so no surprise there. This was the one I'm curious about, though, Aiden Stone. Oh, just swung it wide, clipped the grass, and around he goes. The scrap for the race lead, Logan Hamilton and Jose Mills were nose to stern. Jose Mills really trying to close in the gap to catch Kinghorn for the race lead. But it's looking no dice for now, with Kinghorn now starting to extend that gap. Still got this fight for 8th place between Ward, Horn, Orman, Brown, Wells, Wheaton, and Parrish. Although Michael Brown really kind of heads off this 4-car train. The problem with this motorsports circuit in Leeds, Alabama is just so difficult to overtake. You have to rely on our opponents making mistakes like Nathan Orman just did. That almost allowed Michael Brown to stick it up the inside, entering 2 and 3, but even then, you sometimes still be too much of an ass to realistically make that type of risk. So Parrish makes the pass on Nathan Wheaton for 13th. Parrish looking to fight back in the run down to the turn 7 chicane. Casey Wells defending. Parrish forcing the issue to the inside of Casey Wells. And Will Parrish fights his way up into 12th place. That was a brilliant overtake, but Christian Vargas now with problems. Going for the move on the number 8 car of Lewis Young. Swings it wide, and that's to the turn 7 chicane. Loops it around, and whoopsie daisy. He's not the only one, as Stephen Colon has now stuffed it into the barriers. Trying to pass Mitchell O'Brien, swings it wide, and just clobbers the tire barriers. Not a whole lot, though, that you can do once you clip that grass. It is such a fine line. Jose Mills has caught up to Logan Kinghorn. That gap, 0.4 of a second, and closing. The problem, once again, that turn 7 chicane. Jose Mills just can't get the power down quick enough to attack Logan Kinghorn down the straights. Carries so much momentum through the higher speed corners. But but just doesn't quite matter when he's trying to reel in the gap, and he just can't even get close enough to do so. See Andy Thomas now in the fray as well. Andy Thomas has had a bit of an off start to her season. He's really been struggling so far, just trying to put together a good race. And it's always fallen apart for her. Once from a safety car in the season opener, then of course in round 2 due to her own mistake, but now running third, just trying to stay there. I think I saw a look, and while there was a look, there was not a move. It's got the overspeed though. Out of the hairpin, down the straightaway. Mills side by side with Logan Kinghorn for the race lead. Drag race down to turn 7. Jose Mills has the advantage. Kinghorn tries to fight back, but can't get there into turn 7. And Jose Mills takes the race lead away. Just got so much of a run out of the turn 5 hairpin and just swept across at 7-8 to cut off Kinghorn's advance. I'll tell you right now, though, this fight definitely not over by a long shot. As apologies for the brief technical difficulties. Is that a move for third place? Second, yes it is. Andy Thomas takes to the inside of Kinghorn. The truck assist hold is starting to lose ground, but look at the drive that Kinghorn gets around the outside on Andy Thomas, and Thomas is going to have to relegate herself to third place once again for the time being. Thomas starts to fall back. Why don't we take a look at the fights for 8th, 9th, and so on further back. Will Parrish, Dominic Horn, and more. All still closing in to each other. Each one of these drivers trying to make moves. Horn and Parrish leading the train up at the top end with Nathan Norman just kind of hanging around in 10th. Oh, hello. Michael Brown slides off. Is that the barriers? Yes, it is. Michael Brown stuffs it in, but keeps the car running. Will get the chance to rejoin the circuit and try to overtake the number 4 car, Casey Wells, and just backs it into the wall. Andy Thomas has the run on Kinghorn again, down for 7. This time it is enough. Andy Thomas goes through to second place. Once again, just better power out of turns 5 and 6 and down for 7. Andy Thomas taking that pass away with force. And there is Logan Hamilton of the Vodafone Mustang trying to keep Mitchell O'Brien at bay. Already a quarter of the way through this 41-lap race. Ryan's got the run, looks for the inside. Does he commit to turn one? No, he doesn't. A lockup from Hamilton scares Mitchell O'Brien back in the line. Once again, the scrap for 8th through 11th, Horn, Ormond, Parrish, Wells. These spots have not changed in some time. And it doesn't look that they're going to be changing anytime soon either. They are just too evenly matched. There is a fight behind. This is Aiden Stone, Dylan McKenzie, and Christian Vargas all going at it with each other, although there is a lap car in the thick of things as well that I believe just got into the 67 car of Christian Vargas. And I think, is that Felix Jansen? No, it's not. It's Alyssa Harris. Annie Thomas has caught race leader Jose Mills. And there you can see Mills has been steadily losing time lap after lap. And looks like we'll be losing yet more time in this one. Thomas loses a little bit through the second to last corner there at turn 15, but immediately hammers down towards the front straightaway, crossing the line. Mills still leads, but look once again at how much time he's lost. A second just that lap alone. At this rate, Andy Thomas will be passing him this lap. Goes high in turn 2. Trying to cut in for 3, but runs too wide, so she'll have to wait a bit longer. Maybe the hairpin. Under 210s, pulls out to the left. Mills goes defensive, side by side to the braking zone. Annie Thomas takes the position away, outside line. What a move. Annie Thomas making her work. Here's another look at that pass for the race lead. And one more. Just way deeper on the brakes and swept around the outside of the corner to take that away. It was on the power early. Tell you what, she did exactly what she needed to make that work. Oh, but she might have just thrown it in the way. Swings out wide and clips the curb and cuts the corner as well. Careful for the rejoin here. Look out for Kinghorn. Gonna just get on, but now she's down in third place, but it could be a heck of a lot worse. Looks like she has gotten away without any damage, and yeah, just ran wide. I'll tell you what, that was some risky business. That could have ended really badly for Annie Thomas, but luckily she had the skill to keep that thing under control and the awareness not to pull out right in front of Kinghorn. Got the fight for 13th and 12th. That's been picking up over the last little while. Nathan Wheaton and Zach Fitzwater Sr. have been trading spots for a couple of laps. We just haven't really had time to talk about it because of all the battling that's been going on up at the front of the field. course, take a look at Fitzwater's gains on the day. He's already +7, which is exactly where he wants to be, considering he won the race at Road America. But it's Will Parrish to have gained the most, +9 for the number 1 car. Pit stops will be coming up pretty soon with these drivers as well. With, once again, those expecting to take place around the halfway point, but with how difficult of a pit road this is to get on here, you have to wonder how it will look for drivers to come down onto pit road. It's a fight for Stewart and Hamilton starting to gradually develop. Whoa, and Stewart trying to go high, but Hamilton just cutting him off. Maybe go for the crossover out of the turn 5 hairpin. No, swings it out too wide, but has the overspeed. Even avoid being cut off again. Maybe gets him in the run down to turn 7. Oh, he's got more than enough speed. Alongside, Hamilton fighting back though at turn 7, and now it's Hamilton that gets cut off as Stewart sweeps through into the top 5. And look at all of this chaos in the back. Casey Wells loses 2 spots in just 1 corner exit. Fitzwater still alongside with Wells. Into turn 7 to 7A, still side by side through 7B, down the hill. When have you ever seen a fight like this? But Fitzwater will be victorious. A look at the battle in the run down to turn 7 and 7A. Parrish braked late, tried to fight it out, but Fitzwater said, "No, sir, that spot's mine." Talk about a pinch and a half. Oh, and that's Dominic Horn having a pretty significant off. And will rejoin without incident. And Matt Jones takes a spot away from Nathan Wheaton. That was the move for 12. And Fitzwater continues to charge, screaming past Will Parrish. There's a lot of battling all of a sudden going on. At the same time, Casey Wells continuing to lose spots. Lost one to Matt Jones, about to lose another one to Nathan Wheaton. Oh, this will get tight. They make contact. Contact mid-corner sends Wells wide. But will manage to survive it. You've still got battles raging on further down the order. This is Kingsley and Young. A scrap for 17th, and they're being held up. Oh, sorry, I thought they're being held up, but they are not. That's Nathan Christensen, the lap car behind them. Watching this battle with a front row seat. Next time we go racing, we'll head to a track that's even more difficult to overtake than it is here. Long Beach Street Circuit, 47 laps in the late afternoon, closing in on sunset around the street circuit. That is going to be a race of great attrition. And I would expect more than a couple of safety cars at that 47 lap event. Logan Kinghorn once again closing in on Jose Mills for the race lead. And problems for Lewis Young, who has gone off. That's at the turn 7 chicane. No, has he clipped the grass and then spun it back onto the track? Yes, he has. And holy cow, Nathan Christensen just avoiding him. We're going to stay with this because it looks like he's had a secondary problem. Oh, has he just recorrected himself on the racetrack? Yes, he has. Well, he's thinking about it. I think just there has got himself all sorted. Back on board with Kinghorn as we watch the number 37 trying to close up to Mills, but that gap now starting to break away. Let's check in on our fight for 8th place between Nathan Ormond and George Ward. Going to be halfway this next time by at the line for all drivers, which will, of course, mean pit stops coming anytime now. Jose Mills, problems with your race leader. Off track in turn 5. Oh, and he spun it out trying to get back on. That's going to cost him the lead to Logan Kinghorn, who you saw just went through. Oh boy, and he's going to lose a ton of spots, and he's not the only one. George Ward having big problems. Is up into turn 2, swings it wide, and he's into the sand trap and loops it around. Oh, he's backed it into the, oh yes he has! George Ward backs it into the barriers as well, so Logan Kinghorn now with the race lead. Andy Thomas in second, and Will Parrish trying to close up to Zach Fitzwater Sr. still for that second place. As that, you've got Archer Kingsley and Michael Brown within a second of Luca Reed. That is your current scrap for 16th place. We've also got Michael Brown now closing in, and Michael Brown's going to go for it here to the inside of Kingsley. And look at that, Michael Brown goes past, so Archer Kingsley goes past Michael Brown while George Ward makes the trip into pit road. First driver to do so on the day. So that will very easily set off the chain reaction that will allow just about everybody to come down into pit road. What will Logan Kinghorn do? Is Kinghorn trying to, is he going to fit this time by? Yes, he is. Kinghorn in the pit road, and I imagine Andy Thompson is going to respond, and so will just about everybody else in this field. Everybody back to 7th place is now down and into the lane. Is anybody going to dare to stay out and try to go one more? See George Ward leaving pit road. He was already down and in the lane. And how's that? That's a short stop. Only about 14 seconds there for Kinghorn. Splash and dash stop for the number 37 car. He is off and away. The 14th place car, though, of Archer Kingsley. Stay now one more. That'll put him up to 6th place now. Oh, Stephen Colon having big problems. That's at turn 13. Sorry, that's at turn 2, actually. Colon was diving it in for turn 1, and what has he done here to lose it in 2? Trying to pass outside. Oh, he's just looped it himself. Rookie error there for Stephen Colon, pushing too hard and still stopped, and now trying to correct himself, but it's going to be too little, too late. Jose Mills just got around Nathan Ormond in the mad dash to turn 7. It's really no contest as Mills took that one around the outside lane, just so much more confident on the brakes than the Shell V-powered Mustang. Archer Kingsley and Michael Brown now making the stop in pit road, and there's a good host of drivers that have yet to make stops as well, including guys like Brown and the like. I think we're seeing the last of those drivers, though, making those pit stops just now. Leaving this so far the only battle on the racetrack between Nathan Ormond and Jose Mills for 6th place. Ormond is not willing to let Mills go without a fight here. Mills trying to outbrake Nathan Ormond. Ormond's got him on the corner exit here. No, he doesn't. Nathan Ormond just a bit more good on the exit on the power. Stays in front. So after pit stops, you've still got 21 cars on the lead lap, but the whole field really spread out by big margins. The closest battle, the one on your screen at the moment between Mills and Ormond. So while we've got this lull in the action, why don't we go on board with Ormond here for a few laps, and we'll show you what it's like for a couple of laps here around the Barber Motorsports Park. Andy Thomas has caught Logan Kinghorn trying to make that move for the race lead down in the turn. Number 5 doesn't manage to get there this time around, but Andy Thomas has really piled on the pressure, and Logan Kinghorn now starting to falter as Alyssa Harris makes another trip to the lane. They are also starting to catch the likes of Aiden Stone and Lewis Young, both cars that are laps down. I would not be surprised if we saw lap traffic having a big say in how this battle is decided. So far, we haven't really had a track where lap traffic has been a very big problem, but you get to tracks like Long Beach and Barber, much smaller venues like this one, and it really does start to become apparent the real speed differences that there are from top to bottom in the field. Look at Thomas sweeping outside line and takes that spot away from Logan Kinghorn. Andy Thomas back to the race lead. Kinghorn got checked up by Aiden Stone. That is what allowed Andy Thomas into the race lead. And just there, Thomas finally breaks past the number 94 Mustang GT. I'll see on the left side of your screen on the timing tower that Logan Hamilton, Mitchell O'Brien about ready to do battle once more. Though as I say that, they start to split apart again, so I wonder if it's just us. George Ward tried to make the pass on Aiden Stone into turn 1. Didn't quite work out that time. But the Bottle Mustang doing a good job on just staying out there and remaining a competitive force with other drivers around him. Also isn't the only one. You've got the fight between Michael Brown and Archer Kingsley that's still looking pretty close. That's for 14th and 15th place, but once again, the difficult nature when it comes to overtaking at the Barber Motorsports Park means that none of these battles really tend to really go anywhere. So you kind of just stuck with moments like these. Oh, there's a wide swing though for Archer Kingsley, and that will let Michael Brown get the upper hand, and I have a strong feeling that Michael Brown just outbraked himself. That's exactly what it was. You saw the lockup from the smoke, or the smoke from the lockup, and the Supercars auto was going to go through. And once again, this scram here, this was down through the final corner. Actually, this was catching up to some lap traffic, and that was Jose Mills finally getting around Nathan Christensen. Or Nathan Norman, excuse me. Oh, hello. One car out wide. Who was that? I think that was Michael Brown. It's Kingsley. Swinging out too wide in turn one. That's a risky thing to do, but once again, just managed to get that thing back under control. Here's Matt Jones trying to close in on Nathan Wheatley. Take a quick look at the standings as it were. Coming into today, you can see Ormond up on top, Stewart second, and so on and so forth all the way down. And then, of course, you had towards the back portion of the field the other guys who have still not been so lucky throughout the course of this current season. Looking into not just next week at Long Beach, but some of the other racetracks that we're going to be going to before this season is over. You've obviously got also in the U.S. tracks like Road Atlanta and Watkins Glen. We're also going to be making a run to the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval and Mid-Ohio. But before we leave the States, that tops out the whole first half of the season, as a matter of fact. And as well as that, then when we swing to Europe, we kick it off with Spa. The Knock Hill Raceway proved eventful for the Ultimate IndyCar Cup, is I think the nice way of putting it. We'll see what the 72-lap race around Knock Hill will look like for us for the V8 Supercars World Cup. Other notable tracks include the site of the F1 Grand Prix Silverstone, as well as other staples of the Supercar circuit. Casey Wells having major problems. We'll get a quick look on what happened to Wells, and then we'll cut back to our current topic. Out wide, turn 5, and rejoins. All looks fine and dandy there. Not quite sure what might have gone wrong, unless we're going to stay on this replay. It looks like this could have been something that happened down into turn number 7, and whoa, yep. Oh, that's a huge hit to the barrier. No wonder that number 4 car pulled it down in the pit road. Jesse Bell also going off. That's at turn 7, swings it around. And then into turn 1 as well. Stephen Colon having struggles of his own. Loops it around to turn 2. Yes, sirree. Just brings it to a stop, but nothing too major. Apologies again for some of the minor technical difficulties. I think one of the most notable circuits that we're going to be going to is going to be the Autodromo Nazionale Monza for round 11. 26 laps around the Temple of Speed. And then, of course, wrapping up the season will be 3 staples of the V8 Supercar schedule: Winton, Phillip Island, and Mount Panorama. And Archer Kingsley now apparently having some difficulties. Whoa, wow. Good job again. The thing slowed down so he didn't loop it all the way. Will Parrish also going for a slide. It is now really starting to get to that point where everything starts to kind of kick off. We're going to be 10 laps to go this time. Bye. A few other of these drivers wanting to still make moves. Here's the 3-way scrap for 10th, 11th, and 12th between Wheaton, Jones, and Horn. Tell you what, in the way of actual on-track excitement, there hasn't been a whole lot when you compare it to tracks like Road America and, of course, the season opener at Sebring, which was just a non-stop festival of constant action. But now, it looks like we might get some of that battle finally getting back to us. Matt Jones continuing to close in on a top 10. Oh, that's going to cost those. He runs it out wide. Oh, maybe it won't actually. How's that for an overtake? Round the outside of Nathan Winton. Want to get a look on how exactly he managed to accomplish this one. I think he just got the hammer down, will right on board, and exactly that. Just power down and fly through it. Oh, but he's going to go out wide. That's going to be a cut course and a slowdown penalty for Matt Jones. He'll most likely have to give the spot back to Nathan Wheaton. Being held up by a loud traffic. Dylan McKenzie is not going to help matters either. Looks like that's all been taken care of, though, so no further issues for now. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. trying to once again get around Nathan Orman, and he's not the only one with the charge. Tony Stewart to the outside, of Logan Hamilton. And Stewart finds a hole. mentioned this is all going to kick off at the final laps, and well, sure enough, it has. Nathan Wheaton trying to close in on Dominic Horn for 10th place. Problems deeper in the field. This is Tony Stewart that had an off, and he wasn't the only one. Archer Kingsley as well, taking the slide. So Stewart just ran wide at turn 7, rejoined, no problem. It was Kingsley here though. Too wide, grass. Does he get the wall? Yes, he does. You saw him just glance off it a little bit. And there's the move. Nathan Wheaton past Horn into 10th place. Wheaton made the pass in the dash towards turn 7. Side by side, a big lock up there for the Irwin Tools number 19, but he makes it stick. And O'Brien wants to get racy as well with Logan Hamilton in the dying stages. And oh, hello. George Ward is in the wall, and is he stuck? I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Too deep, swings it wide, and I think he's just clipped the barrier there and tried to go through. We'll get a look on board. This is a very strange incident. Always jammed the car into the tire bundles. That's what's happened there. Stewart's close in on O'Brien and Hamilton, making this a three-way fight now for the final podium position. With 5 laps and, well, 4 and some laps left to go. Stewart and O'Brien both swing out to the right as Hamilton covers on the left. Stewart's got a drive. O'Brien's trying to cover. Stewart's got the overspeed. Pulling alongside. Late break for Stewart to the inside. Jumps the grass. O'Brien trying to cut back. Can't get there though. Stewart, I think, has completed the pass. That was very, very bold for Tony Stewart. We'll get a look at this one down and towards the turn 7 chicane. I think that might have just been a penalty for a slowdown, but he managed to drive through it. Lewis Young having more problems. Into the grass. Comes back on and has to come to an almost full stop, but again, no real issues. It's been the one good thing, not a whole lot of drivers crashing out, only a bunch of people just going off track and cycling it around to get back on. O'Brien still trying to catch Tony Stewart. Right side for O'Brien. Brakes late. Stewart hangs on though. The number 20 Home Depot machine just a touch better on the throttle, a little bit more confident. But you know this isn't going to last very long, as it won't be forever before O'Brien tries to cut back at him again. He knows they're coming to 3 laps to go. He can't afford to wait around anymore. Matt Jones and is still trying to work on Dominic Horn for 11th place. As they take 3 to go. Looks like Jones is going to have to settle for 12th place unless he can find something underneath that Holden-powered Commodore. So we'll look back up to 5th and 4th place as O'Brien lunged for it there into the final corner, but Stewart held on. Two laps left to go. And Stewart just clinging on with everything he's got at the moment. Really early breaking point there for Mitchell O'Brien. That's not going to help him at all if he wants to go after Stewart. Now he's cost himself almost 3/4 of a second. And it's going to be a tough ask to reel that in to go after the Home Depot Mustang. Last lap board now being displayed to Andy Thomas, who takes the final lap. At the moment, these two cars are the closest ones you've got out on track when it comes to fights for position. But I think O'Brien has spent everything he's had in that car. He has just been falling further and further back as time goes on. So we'll look up now to Andy Thomas, who is coming around through turn 7 for the last time today, out of 8. And the dash to 9 and 10. What a roller coaster of a race it has been today. Just non-stop battles from start to finish. If you looked all throughout the field, there's been people trying to close in, but out of them all, Andy Thomas got screwed out of a win due to a safety car late at Sebring, crashed hard at Road America, but it finally comes together. Andy Thomas wins the Alabama Grand Prix at the Barber Motorsports Park. At long last, that 24 car finally gets the win that she's been hunting. That has been a race-winning car since the start of the season. Hasn't never really been able to show it, but now a winner for Thomas. What a run for the number 24 car. Still have a few drivers that have yet to cross the start-finish line before we put tonight's race to bed. And at the moment, all these guys are just thinking, let's just finish this race in one piece. They're not racing each other. They don't gain anything by fighting each other, so they're just content to just have a bit of fun and finish this race out on a high note for all of them. With all drivers now across the line, it is time to get a look at your official post-race results here from the Barber Motorsports Park. Race winner going to be none other than one Andy Thomas, with Logan Kinghorn finishing it up 7 seconds back. Logan Hamilton rounds out the podium with another stellar performance. Tony Stewart is 4th. Mitchell O'Brien is going to be in 5th. That'll put Jose Mills in 6th, with Nathan Ormond in 7th. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. in 8th. Will Parrish 9th. Nathan Wheaton rounds out the top 10. Dominic Horn will be in 11th, with Matt Jones in 12th. Michael Brown is 13th, with Luca Reed, the first car, a lap down in 14th place, a good halfway out through the field. Archer Kingsley is 15th, also a lap down. From there, it's Christian Vargas in 16th, Eddie Stone 17th, Lewis Young in 18th, and going to be wrapping out the field will be the likes of Dylan McKenzie, George Ward, Declan Foster, Felix Jensen, Nathan Christensen, Alyssa Harris, Jesse Bell, Stephen Colon, and Casey Wells. That's going to be about all the time we've got for one day. Here's a look at your championship standings, as Nathan Ormond is toppled from the top step. Tony Stewart now in the points lead, but Amy Thomas, with that race win, is not far behind. We'll see you next time when we go street circuit racing on the streets of Long Beach in California.